drive you right there.
Yeah. Because I saw that thing where they only did a guy around town a little bit,
Right.
a few minutes. It looked like it was all the windows. Everything looked like metal. It would look like a whole metal thing. But how could you see out the window? I guess you could see out, but you
could
can't
see,
look in.
yeah, you could see out the windows because it was dark. You saw that demonstration.
I mean, it looked like you probably could see. You have to see out, but you couldn't see in. It looked like I don't know. It looked like,
But eventually, it's going to come here. I'll be able to put this car in robotaxi mode, and I can stay at home or do something else while it's out driving.
Wow.
Uber or like Uber, they're going to have their own app apparently.
That's really cool.
So it'll be a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Then you can use the car when you want to use it, but you can send it out.
Well, with my age, I have so many things wrong with me that I don't know if I can make it. Even I have two. I try to hold on to my teeth, but I had two teeth that needed work. I had a dentist. They was great, and then with the freaking virus and all this other stuff, everything was closed. He retired. Then I had another guy. Oh, you need all kind of this, that, and the other thing. I said,
no.
So I finally went to a dentist there, and the guy said, well, you have to have two teeth worked on. $7,000. I says, I'm 91 years old. I may never even, finish working on them. So the guy said, well, you have to have them extracted. So I had to go to an oral surgeon. He goes, I says, look, don't worry about it. I got a DNR around my neck. Anything goes sideways, don't worry about it. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. He says, even the insurance don't cover it. I got to pay for that myself. So he says, are they bothering you? I said, no. He says, well, when they stop bothering you, come back and we'll take them out then. I said, okay. But like I say,
Did you say you have a DNR around your neck?
Yeah, I got.
You carry it with you?
Yep, I got one in my wallet. I got one in a big paper on my refrigerator, and I got around my neck that I saw online. I sent away. It's got all my information on the back of it. Who to call, my name, my birthday, who to call.
Oh, that is perfect.
And everything else, and a big DNR around.
That is perfect because I used to have. They're both dead now. I have a mother-in-law and father-in-law that were living in assisted living. And my mother-in-law fell and broke her hip, went to a nursing home, got C. diff, and died in the nursing home. And when she was in her last moments, we were actually there when she was dying. And they called the paramedics. The paramedics came. I said, she's got a DNR. And they said, unless they see the paper, they have to treat her. And it turned out the assisted living was only a couple blocks away. So I sped over there to get the DNR, came back. By that time, she was in the ambulance already. I pounded on the door, and I said, here's the DNR. They had already intubated her. So they said, we can't take it out. She's dead, but we can't take it out. We have to bring her to the hospital so they can take it out. So I didn't get there in time because when she had the broken hip, they did not bring the DNR with her to the nursing home. And we were not aware that it wasn't there until this happened. So having it around your neck's a great idea.
Plus I've got the papers in my, a small paper they give you, it's in my wallet.
Yep.
And this thing
that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, this thing is, when we get out there, I'll just show you. It's printed up, you can't miss it. Who to call.
Yeah.
My daughter's got the names on who to call and everything else. And like I said, in my wallet there's the paper. They give you a small paper and they give you a big paper. That's on my refrigerator in the house. Yeah, because I said, look,
But you have something around your neck as well?
Yeah, I got it. I sent away. It's a when we get to the thing, I'll just show you.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it.
Yeah, I went online and I saw this. I said, oh, this is great. It didn't cost me like $10 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely worthwhile. I don't know why I didn't think of that. We could have had one of those around her neck, and then we'd have to worry about it.
Yeah, and too, I got besides all this stuff, I got AFib, Heart murmur. The guy said that murmur's so loud I don't need a stethoscope. He said, and then I got a pacemaker with five stints. The last time they put the other stint in, and he's telling me now your major artery is blocked. I says, I'm not going through this anymore. The other guy says, well, you know, he says, we'll add a few years to your life. And then the other guy looks, he says, if you got that DNR around your neck, why do you want to add to it? I said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't want any more surgery.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, you are kind of broken up, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just. And then prostate cancer and
Yep.
neuropathy of my feet and everything, you name it, I got it.
Yep. Yep.
Crushed vertebrae, herniated discs.
But
I said,
your mind is obviously clear.
my mind works, yeah.
That is terrific that your mind is clear, because my father-in-law had dementia, so when he lost his wife, he could never get over that she had died. He thought she ran off with someone else. He spent about 5 years thinking that she ran off with someone else. So we made a picture of the two of them, and then on the back we told the story that she broke her hip, she went to a nursing home, got sick, and died. So that's all on this thing. So we're visiting him in his nursing home one day. He was at the VA nursing home over in
That's a
Land O'Lakes.
cruel thing, because my ex-wife just passed away a couple of months ago, and she had dementia, and it was like,
Yeah, it's hard.
my daughter said she, didn't know who it was, and it was getting worse. And when you take a picture, I saw a picture of her before she passed away. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it was the same person,
Yeah, so this was all written on the picture for him. So we were visiting him, and we went through all of this information with him.
Yeah.
And then a care worker came in to take care of him or see if he needed anything. And he repeated the story, because it was right then. He'd forget it in 5 minutes, but it was right then. So she came in, he told her the story, but he added one more line that wasn't on the card. Eventually they had to put her down.
Oh.
Like a dog.
Oh, God.
Poor guy. I don't know how in the world that came to his mind.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
So having a clear mind, I told my kids, if I feel my mind is starting to go, I'm going to start doing really dangerous stuff.
Yeah, well, I even at home, I try to do different things.
If you keep your mind going, that's going to be helpful for that.
Oh yeah, well, I was doing
getting some exercise. That's really good.
A year or so ago, I was doing because I used to be a commercial artist. I would put 2 hitches in the Marines. I come out, I put every job around the country. Just hated everything. Then I was freelance commercial artist and all. Then I started doing all the portraits of the family and stuff. But then my hands wasn't working that well anymore, so I had to stop doing that. But try to do,
If you keep active, it's going to be best for you. That's for sure. So I've got a brother that was in the Marines during Vietnam. I had a draft number of 70, but I had a student deferment because I was in college at the time. And he had a draft number of 320, and he joined the Marines. So he goes to boot camp, and he had been told, if you want to succeed in the military, you volunteer.
Oh, never volunteer.
That's everyone else says that. So anyway, he's at boot camp, all lined up, and the sergeant has picked out the big guys as squad leaders and someone with some education as a secretary and all the different jobs. He said, I need one more. I need a guidon. Who wants to be guidon? And 4 or 5 soldiers raised their hands. He among them. And the sergeant went to a couple of them before him, and all the other soldiers could hear, because he whispered in their ear, was yes sir, no sir. And then he went to the next one, yes sir, no sir. Then he came to my brother and he says, so you want to be guidon? My brother says, yes sir. Are you sure you want to be guidon? He says, yes sir. He says, You think you could whip ass on those 4 guys down at the end, the big squad leaders. He's about 160 pounds at the time. So he's not a big guy. And he says, yes, sir. The sergeant says, I think you better look again. He looks again, he comes back. Still think you can whip ass on those 4 guys? My brother says, yes, sir. He says, which one you want to start with? My brother says, I thought you meant all 4 at once, sir. He says, you're it. So he was guyed on, and he got a hard time from the other soldiers in his company, and he got beat up by the sergeant when they messed up. So it was tough, but he was honor man in his company by the time he graduated. And then they needed one person from his entire company to go to Vietnam, because it was getting near the end where they were not sending as many guys over. And he volunteered, but I think this is going
Yeah,
right.
this is it. This is it. They're just not open yet. That's why.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
So,
this is it.
I gotta finish the story. Though,
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
This is a great story.
I'm
So
not going anywhere.
he's the one that volunteered. I can sit here because I shut it off. What time did they open? 8 o'clock. Oh man, that's a long time.
I know, it's early.
That's terrible.
I know, that's what I'm saying. This thing is.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
So
Max is your name?
What's that?
Max?
Kurt.
Oh, Kurt,
Kurt's
they
my
told me.
name.
I don't know where I got Max from.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyway, so he volunteers, but someone came down with spinal meningitis. So that quarantined the whole company, so he didn't get to go in that spot. So what does he do? He goes to recon school.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which you and I know, most people don't know. That's the Navy SEALs or the Marines.
Yeah, recon, yeah.
So then, after he gets out of the service, his official story was he never got in the country. The closest he got was a troop ship offshore. That was his official story. So about 5 years in, after he got out, he finally started opening up. And what he actually did, go back to recon school. The officers loved him and hated him because every time they had a war game, they ended up with his knife at their throat because he penetrated every time. So what he actually did in Vietnam was he was on 2-man hit squad that would crawl into enemy camps and slice the throats of officers.
Really?
So incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man, he suffered from that, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And the worst of all is he got spit on when he came back home.
Oh yeah, people there.
Boy, they were just.
Well, I never thought I'd go in the Marines. I was when I was 16 years old. His half-ass cousin of mine, which I don't know why, he says, "Come on, we'll join the Naval Reserve." He says, "Of course, in New York, in Brooklyn, I grew up. You can tell by my accent.
Yep.
You drink when you were 18." So I took my thing. I changed it from 1933 to 1932. So was
so
a
you
year
could
old.
get in.
So I was in there. Then the Korean War broke out, and when I was on a 2-week cruise on a destroyer escort, puking my guts up and everything else. We come back. The Korean War broke out. The guys were going on active duty. I said, "There is no way I'm going in the Navy." So they said, "Well, if you can get in the Marines on active duty now, we'll give you a discharge." I made it by a pound. I weighed 118 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was only 5'6" or something, 118 pounds.
Wow.
It made it by a pound. I went to Paris Island. In Paris Island, I grew 2 inches and put on 20 pounds. When I finally got out, my friends were getting drafted. I said, "Well, put me back on active duty again." Went back. By the time I came out, I was 6 foot, 175. Nobody would. If I went AWOL, they would have never found me. They would have been looking for too long.
You had changed so much.
Yeah. So that was it. Here's a few dollars for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not necessary.
And I
appreciate that.
And good luck with your car and all. I'm
not gonna. I'm gonna sit here for a while with you.
Oh,
all
right.
I don't need to leave. You were gonna show me your thing around the neck.
Oh yeah. Let me take it off.
In fact, since I'm sitting, I can take a picture of it even.
This is, see, you can't miss the front, right?
Oh yeah.
And the back has all the got who to call and everything else. And you know, they gave me one that from the VA. I couldn't even make out what the hell it was. But you have the front. Well,
Yep,
you
yep,
see,
I
did
see
you
that.
take one in the front too?
Yeah, I did. I took
Yeah,
it front
so
and
you
back.
can't miss that big DNR across the front.
Yep. Well, that's kind of interesting because, gotcha, in case of emergency, that's your daughter's name and number.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like she lives close, does she?
No, my oldest one lives in Pennsylvania, and the youngest one lives in New Jersey, and my middle one passed away. So it's like, but like I have 11 grandkids. I got one great grandkid.
11.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
3. Well, my oldest daughter raised 3.
Yep.
My middle daughter had 3. My youngest daughter had 2. But then my oldest daughter adopted 3.
Oh,
wow. She adopted 2 brothers from a abused home, and then she adopted a little girl that was born with alcohol syndrome, whatever it was, fetal alcohol syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
6 months old. I said, oh my God. I mean, how are you going to make... That kid now had 5 brain operations. That kid now is top of the class, taking other classes.
Fantastic.
In high school, taking college classes, plays the piano, sings, everything else. I said, so God has plans for everybody, you know?
God's got a plan for everyone.
That's
You're exactly right.
you know?
I'm going to put this in front of my camera here because I'm making a YouTube channel because there's YouTube channels for Uber drivers. There are YouTube channels for people that have Teslas with full self-driving. But there's no one that I've found that has a channel for Uber drivers who use full self-driving. Like I didn't touch anything until we got right here. It steered, it turned, it put our signal on.
Does it brake for you? Does it stop in front here, or does?
I never touched the pedals the whole way here.
So it stopped.
It did everything.
Oh my God!
You don't even know that I'm not driving.
Yeah, I mean,
but my arms were like this the whole time.
This is unreal. You see things there, but till you actually experience
exactly,
it.
Exactly. A lot of people have never even heard of it. And I picked up about an 80-year-old woman in Pinellas Park, and I took her all the way to Moffitt for cancer treatment, poor thing. And when she got in the car, I said, this car is a Tesla that drives itself, full self-driving. And she said that her friend had just seen a video about that, and she told her friend that there's no way she'd ever get in that kind of car. And I said, well, you're in one now. And I said, I'll be really careful because I can take over anytime I need to. But you let me know what you think once we get there. And as we're getting close to Moffitt, she starts saying things like, I can hardly wait to tell my friend that I got in one of those cars.
Right.
And it was terrific.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I saw the YouTube thing where he came out with, and the thing, it was like a silver car, or the whole thing, even the hubcaps
I know,
were all around, and I said, this looks like a metal car just driving, you know.
He wanted it to look spaceshipy, you know, of the car of the future.
Did he come out with that phone? He's supposed to have, they said it came out with him, or
well,
his $100 phone?
That's clickbait. He doesn't have a phone. And I saw another one that he's made an electric airplane, and he hasn't done that.
No.
So there's people that say all kinds of things. That phone thing has been going around for a long time.
Yeah, I see that thing. He says, he finally came out with a $100 phone. You know?
Yeah, he has no interest in making a phone.
Yeah.
He's concentrating on the cars, the robots. You saw the robots at that thing.
Oh yeah. And then also to catch those rockets that come back there now. Did you see it land? Did you see him catch it? Yeah, the one that came back, landed right back.
Oh man, I couldn't believe my eyes when it happened.
Yeah.
Now my wife and I went and saw the first Starship or Falcon 9 Heavy, the one that has 3 rockets on it, 3 boosters. We went over to Kennedy Space Center and watched the first one when it went off. And when those 2 boosters came down and landed almost simultaneously. It was absolutely amazing. But catching that booster
Yeah.
the other day was absolutely
Right,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Musk can do the unbelievable. He
Yeah,
can do the
that's
impossible.
it. And these guys at NASA have been up there for years, and
I
they
know.
can't. They
I
drop
know.
somebody in the middle of the ocean, and hopefully you find them and all that other crap.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
and then the Boeing Starliner brings the two astronauts up, and
Yeah, what about those
SpaceX is
guys?
gonna
Are
have
they
to.
ever going to get paid?
Well, what's happening with them is they are going to be part of a crew that just went up. So normally there's four people that go up,
Uh-huh.
and they only took two this time. So they're going to be up there for 6 months, and these two that went in the Starliner are going to be extended. They'll be there 8 months total,
Uh-huh.
and then they'll come back
With the
in
other
6
guys.
months in February or whatever
Wow.
that is, or maybe it's
I
a
mean,
little later than
that
that.
gets a little hairy up there, and say, well, we got
Well,
no way to get you back, you know.
yeah, but on the other hand, astronauts are lined up hoping to go to the International Space Station and
Yeah.
spend that time.
Yeah.
So I'll guarantee they're really happy they got to stay. Instead of 8 days, they get to stay 8 months.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's an experience, and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
both of them had already been up there before, so they were not concerned about not being able to come right back. I'll guarantee they weren't, and it was wise of them not to put them in that capsule to come back in case something went wrong. Because
Yeah.
if they were in that capsule coming down, now it landed fine, but if something had happened to that thing when they were coming back, that would have been the end of Boeing space.
Yeah.
There's no way that Boeing would ever be able to send
Oh.
anyone again.
Oh yeah, well look at the
So-
one that what was it, 11 or something that exploded. I forgot what.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So, no, I'm really into space. As a matter of fact, I drove myself a year ago, April, so 18 months ago, when the first Starship launched. I went and watched it.
Really?
I drove out to Brownsville, Texas, stayed a few days, and watched that thing take off for the very first time. And it didn't go very well on the first time, but regardless, it was really, really fun watching the thing actually leave the launch pad. Musk at the time said that he would consider it a success if it didn't blow up on the launch pad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it did. It got several of the steps before they had to blow it up.